In this Baking a Difference how-to video, we're going to have a look at some lovely activities around the science of bread. And we've often during the project done this as the sort of introductory activity with participants. So it's a lovely thing. If you have any bread bakers, and it's not very often that we have had bread bakers in the groups, they don't necessarily know the science behind bread making, and so this is quite a lovely introduction. And we do it in two parts. We look at the role of yeast in the bread making process and the role of gluten and how those two elements go together and are really important. So if we look first of all at the activity that we do around yeast, and we accentuate everything as you might have picked up from the other videos. So using fresh yeast is really important in this activity, and you can get this from the local supermarket if there is a bakery counter, or from a local small bakers as well. And it will keep for a week in the coldest part at the back of your fridge, and it should still be live and okay. So what we do is we break it up and put it in a bowl, and this is an opportunity to go around the group and get everybody to have a little bit of a sniff, maybe have a feel, because it's got quite a particular feel to it, and to start thinking and talking about members of their family who perhaps used to bake, or memories of bakers that used to live in their villages or in their towns that they used to go and buy bread from. So going around the group and just getting everybody to have a little bit of a sniff. Some people will love it, some people will hate it, but it's all good. Okay, so we have the yeast, and in order to help things along, we're going to use a little bit of sugar. We don't have to use that in bread making to make the bread rise, but we do for this to speed it along in the experiment. And we use some flour as well. So what we do is we have some cups of any kind. We happen to have some multicoloured ones. And again, as with all parts of the project, it's an opportunity to get people to make choices and decide what colour they want. So I've chosen the red, blue and yellow. We've also got some nice little dumpy beer bottles, which are perfect for this activity. So if you can get hold of some, I know it can be a bit tricky, but if you can get hold of some and just empty them out somehow, then those are really useful, just because the size and shape of the top of them is just right for this activity. And finally, we've also got some balloons. Again, different colours for people to make their choices as to which one they want to. And sometimes you will have to encourage people to make that decision, but do encourage and gently push them a little bit to make that decision. So the science behind this is something to explain as you go through the activity. But what you want people to do is to put a spoon, a teaspoon, and a measuring spoon is quite good to use here, a teaspoon of yeast into their cup, followed by a teaspoon of sugar and a tablespoon of flour. And it's at this point that you can start getting them with an ordinary teaspoon to just start mixing. And you just get them to mix, because again it's coordination, and it's getting them to do a little bit of an activity using the muscles in their hands and their arms. So it doesn't matter how long they keep mixing. If they get it all nicely mixed up, the better that is. And you will notice that this has been quite inaccurate. We're not measuring things out really precisely by weighing them. And so you will find that the experiment will go at different speeds for each person, and that's part of the excitement. So once people have mixed up their ingredients, you can go round and just add a little bit of water, and you just want a runny mixture. And so finally, the last thing that they need to do, and encourage them to do this themselves if they can, because it doesn't matter about a bit of mess. It can be cleared up. So try and get them to overcome that fear of creating some mess. And basically all you're doing is pouring, or they're pouring, their mixture into their bottle. And then finally, ask each person to choose their colour of balloon. And I think I'm going to go for the purple one. And some people will be able to do this and some won't. You just have to make sure that it's not snagged in the process. And you just want to go over the lip of the bottle, the top lip. And make sure that the balloon isn't somehow stuck itself together. And that's it.